Hey everyone, and welcome back to another collective moon update. We are having a full moon today in the sign of Aries. So I did want to mention that since this is a full moon, it does mean that about 6 months ago, we did have a new moon in Aries. And I did go back and revisit that reading that I did for that new moon. And I found it very interesting. I feel like I went really in depth describing the Aries energy and like how I see it, how I perceive it, and what it means to me. I felt like the message that also came out with the tarot was very interesting. And yeah, just with that being a new moon and this being the full moon, I feel like that is a cycle that is completing, within this bigger cycle. So I think it's worth revisiting. Maybe you can find some common themes, some common threads, determining like how the decisions and the choices that you made and how these last 6 months were navigated. Maybe it could illuminate something for us today, right now. It could tie something up for us. Full moons are usually indicative of like something being shown to us, some bigger truth or something coming to the light, surfacing. It does mark like the completion of a cycle. And I think it's like extra potent because the last new moon in Aries, it was also a solar eclipse. And being that like we're still in the midst, or eclipse season passed, but like we're still super close to like all of that eclipse energy that just happened, I feel like it could be even more of a bigger connection. So yeah, I'm gonna pop that link in the description box below. I highly encourage you guys check it out. I think it could be beneficial. I think we could connect some things, use it to reflect upon like what these last 6 months have brought. And I think a lot of the information that was talked about over there, a lot of the messages that came through could still be relevant today. So with this full moon being in Aries, Aries for me represents masculine energy. And the reason why I correlate it to that is because Aries is ruled by the planet Mars, and Mars rules masculinity. So Mars can rule things like, competition, war, fighting, defending things, protecting things. It's a very bold energy. It's a doing energy. It puts things into motion. It puts things into action. Mars also talks about like our sexuality. So it is an energy that can be very impulsive, very in the moment. It doesn't really think, it just does. So it's really important for us to be very aware of our own Mars energy and how it's being expressed, because it's an energy that can be very like destructive and very harmful if expressed in the more lower vibrational sense. But it's also an energy that is much needed and can be a beautiful energy and is a very healthy energy when it's expressed in a healthy way. When we are protecting and defending and fighting for things that need that protection, that deserve that protection, vulnerable things or people or places, circumstances that need someone to step out in the front and defend it. I feel like it can be that energy that's behind spiritual warriors, here doing like God's work. But again, the quality of this energy matters. Like it matters how you put this energy forth. Like what are you fighting for? What are you protecting? What are you being a warrior for? And it is an energy that needs to develop, needs to grow up, because like I said, it can be very impulsive. It can be very like act now, think later. It jumps right in. It's very bold. So it is an energy that needs to like over time, it does need to like grow up and mature and get refined so that we're able to direct that energy in a way that's potent and powerful and intentional versus like letting it leak all over the place, causing havoc and being harmful and causing a bunch of destruction. Like we do have to be very careful with this energy and how it's used. And being that this energy is representative of masculine energy, and being that we live in a society that applauds and uplifts and spotlights masculine energy as being like superior, you know what I mean? Like it's what is rewarded and acknowledged. So naturally, us being humans, us having those needs of like belonging and of appreciation and affection, we naturally want to conform, we want to fit into that mold. We see like, oh, that's what's being celebrated, that's what's acknowledged, okay, got it, that's what I need to embody then, because we naturally want that validation and that approval and like that kind of attention. So things like, like making numbers, winning, being on top, being number one, being dominant in some way, accumulating like power or resources or riches or status, and being able to like have some kind of result that can be measured usually falls into this masculine energy that is praised and that is valued above other things. For example, like connection and love and relationship, being compassionate and considerate and kind. These things usually take a back seat to this masculine energy. Like it's usually just not seen or regarded or appreciated as important, like as important as that masculine energy is. And so what happens is that people will want so badly to fit into that particular mold to be accepted that it turns into like a very competitive situation where they are willing to be selfish and to not care about the harm that they're causing to other people. They're only thinking about themselves and how to win and how to reach the top, how to get that top spot. They're only thinking about how to satisfy themselves. Because whether subconsciously or consciously, whether indirectly or directly, this is kind of like what is role modeled, what is encouraged. This is what is seen as being like strong and powerful. It usually comes with those like very tricky other like characteristics and qualities that can be very problematic. And so I think that's the problem, with our society is like we value that energy, but masculine energy is capable of being great. It's capable of being healthy and strong, like the true definition of strong, not this warped definition of strength that society, thinks is strong, like putting people down and being dominating and being forceful. And then that's what's strong and that's what's powerful, is like the person that doesn't give a crap and that's like super savage and mean and rude and competitive and wants to like push everybody out of the way, who's not afraid to step on other people's toes, who really is not a considerate, compassionate person that values those things. But again, they're selfish and they're only valuing themselves and their own interests and things that are going to benefit them. Not that warped ass version of strength that society thinks is strength. In my opinion, that's weakness. That's a lack of agency, a lack of control, a lack of maturity. That's that energy I was talking about that needs to grow up. They say the Mars energy matures around the age of 28 because again, it's an energy that needs to grow up, it needs to mature, it needs to develop. Like you need to cultivate a certain level of discipline so that you can act in ways that are right and proper and honest and fair and that are not, self-interested. You're acting in ways that are not destructive and harmful. But of course, our society applauds that versus applauding, healthy masculine energy, because masculine energy is an energy that is much needed. It's so needed. And it is very important and it is very impressive. We just need to be responsible with how we put it into motion, with how we use it. And it's said that this masculine energy, this yang energy, is one of the hardest energies to cultivate. And that's because, like, you need to learn how to, have that discipline, learn how to not be impulsive, how not to get tempted or swayed off your path. You need to be in control of yourself. You need to learn, how to do the right things, how to be a role model, how to be a leader, how to create structure that is healthy and protective. And again, like it's supportive. It provides something meaningful and valuable. Like, for example, a good environment for love and connection and relationship and like it'll provide a good place for those things to flourish because it's not whole without those things. Something is missing without those energies. So that's what I mean. It's like it protects that energy. It creates a safe space and container for that energy. And I think that's what strong masculine energy is and what it does. It's not this little d weak sauce ass energy. It's this big daddy, big D energy that is responsible and dependable. And again, it's maintaining something, it's upholding something, it's building something, it's working with the good, with the light, working with higher energy, with God. It's in alignment with truth and unconditional love and divine law and order. It's in alignment with right and proper action. And that is the masculine energy that we need to praise. If we're going to be praising any energy above any other ones, it needs to be that one, not this unhealthy ass, warped ass energy. And then that's what's considered strong. Please. So yes, that is what I think about when I think about this Aries energy. It's masculine energy. It's an energy that we need to be very careful with how we use it, because it can be so destructive, but it can also be so helpful and powerful and potent. And masculine energy is known for being that energy that like has very, you know, a narrow focus and vision on its goal, and will do whatever it needs to do to get there. But how we choose to get there matters. The quality of our actions matters. The way it impacts us and those around us matters. It's a very needed energy. It's a very useful energy. It's an energy that needs to be cultivated, that needs to be worked on, that needs to be developed over time, refined, so that it can serve its purpose, it can serve its function, because it has a huge purpose, you know, it has a huge role to play. But it's just like, what side are you on? Are you on the more negative, destructive side of the spectrum? Or are you going to choose to be on the higher vibrational side, you know, the light side? Determining how you move, your choices, your decisions that you have, you know, through your own free will, that determines like what side of the spectrum you fall on. And so you do have to be very intentional, and you do have to be very mindful. And it's not an energy that you can just like be so flippant with and so reckless with, because it can do real damage, it can do real harm, as can be noted, you know, throughout history, time and time again, right? What happens when this energy isn't used properly? It's a real pandemic, it's a real problem that needs to be overcome. So I think the way that we perceive masculine energy, what it is, how we relate to it, all of these things need to be like talked about and reconsidered, because again, this society, I feel like, warps everything. So with all of that being said, let's jump into the messages. I'm super excited to see what Spirit has for us today, because the new moon in Aries reading, it was so interesting, the messages that came through. So I want to see what comes through for us here today. So you guys already know the drill. You can use this time to breathe, take deep in and out breaths, center yourselves so that you can be receptive to the messages that are meant for you here today. While you guys do your thing, I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling the spread. Okay, so I went ahead and pulled the oracle cards to get started. And what I'm seeing here is the need for us to trust, like trust in divinity and trust in God and like trust in a higher power, that there is something bigger and greater playing a role, influencing, moving things, you know, there is something bigger that we can't understand working behind the scenes. And so we don't always need to like micromanage everything and like use our willpower to force things into motion and to force things into place. You know, a lot of this message has to do with trust. It's like trust that there is something else. Like we think like it's just us, it's, you know, it's just up to our actions and free wills and like what we will forward and what we force and what we push into motion, and like we have to be responsible to put things into place. But this is actually saying that there are some things that it's like it's beyond our control, and that right now is not the time. Like right now is not the time to try to will anything forward, because there is a time where that is needed, where that is necessary. It's funny that this is the message, because it's kind of like an opposite message, you know, so far of what came out in the new moon reading. Because in the new moon reading 6 months ago, when we first started this cycle, that's when the energy was very like, don't be passive, be very intentional, make decisions, make it very clear, you know, what side you're standing on. Like, what is your energy? What is the energy that you are inviting, that you are working with, that you are building with, that you encourage, that you support, and be very, you know, mindful about how you move and like the actions that you take and how you're utilizing your energy. Because not everything is, you know, written in some divine way. Of course, we can always take the things that happen to us and we can learn from it and we can rise above it. We can handle it in a way that is going to ultimately serve us. But not everything that happens is like divinely written. Sometimes we are at the mercy of bad people just doing bad things, making bad decisions, and then we get caught in those crosshairs, you know, having to deal with the fallout of someone else's bad actions and bad choices. It's like that energy I was describing earlier, like that energy that it doesn't care. It doesn't care the destruction it's causing in its wake. It's just trying to reach its goal and it doesn't care about its impact on themselves or others. So we do have to be mindful of that. Sometimes things happen and it wasn't like, oh, I attracted that, or I just needed to learn that lesson, or it was divinely written, it was meant to happen. It's like, no, sometimes none of that is true. Sometimes things just happen because people do have free will and they use their free will in a way that is irresponsible. And then innocent people get harmed in that process. And so if we're going to use, you know, any kind of fighting energy, any kind of competitive energy, war energy, I feel like it should be to protect and defend the innocent, in my opinion. But like I said, this was more the new moon message that came out. This message that I'm seeing here, it is very like hands off. It is very like it's encouraging you to just trust, to just let go, to just let the universe, you know, do its thing, to yes, be a little more passive right now at this time, because what needs to happen is going to happen. There's a bigger influence and it is asking you to like trust where you're being led. And it is asking you to like just rest. Like right now is a time to rest, to get in a bathtub and have a bubble bath and relax and like calm down your nervous system. Like do whatever it is that you need to do to like calm yourself down and relax and bring yourself down. Invite stillness, calmness, you know, that more quiet, meditative kind of an energy, so that you can really feel what your intuition is telling you and where it's pulling you, where it's directing you, where it's guiding you, because it's saying that it's pulling you somewhere. And in order for you to feel that nudge, to like have that connection to your intuition, to feel the pull, you need to create that stillness, that silence. And you need to like not be so nitpicky right now about like, I need to do this and this and this and like micromanage. They're saying no. They're saying that is not the energy that's going to benefit us right now, to try to force things and just be like very on top of things. It says right now is a time to just like let go and relax and let what is going to be. Let all the pieces fall where they may, and just trust that there's like a bigger power playing a role, playing a purpose, aligning things, and you should just kind of like move out of the way and let that happen, which is very eclipse inspired. Like that's usually the advice for these times, so that's definitely coming through heavily here, you know, because it is saying that a lot of us are not feeling like good, you know, a lot of us are not feeling at ease with where we're finding ourselves currently. And in order for this to change, to shift, it's saying like the best way forward is for us to back down and gain clarity, allow everything to settle, so then it can come to us more easily, more clearly, like what it is that we need to do to move ourselves closer to something that is going to feel like home, that is going to feel in alignment with us and what we feel and our heart and like what's good for us. Because I feel like maybe so much of us are finding ourselves like in a place where it's like we're so far away from something that is in alignment with our heart. And it's like the energy that I was describing at the beginning, you know, it's because society values those masculine qualities, and not even like the healthy sort, unfortunately it valued the unhealthy one, the one that completely doesn't consider things like your heart and your feelings and your emotions. And so then this is what happens. This is what it leads to when we live in a society that encourages that toxic masculine energy. This is what happens. It's like we're not satisfied, we're not happy, because we weren't acting from like a whole place, from like the whole picture. We weren't considering a part that is crucial, that matters and is important. And it's until you're where you are that you're unsatisfied and unhappy. It's not until you're there that you start realizing, like, damn, like, what have I done? Or what happened? I'm so far away from my happiness. And in order for you to connect to that, they're saying this is the energy that you need to invite in, so that you can see things clearly and allow yourself to be pulled and know that there's a bigger order, a bigger power that wants to align you to your purpose, that knows you and knows your heart, that loves you and, wants you to find peace and happiness. It's working for you, and you just have to like align to that. And in order for you to do that, you have to, that is a hands-off process. Of course, there are some decisions you need to make, but it's like, it's not something that you're like willing and forcing and strong arming, It is very like, what's meant for you will align. What's meant for you is for you. But you do have to let yourself align to it. And when we're so caught up in trying to force things, because we think we know best, right? We think we know it all. So we think we know what it is that we want to like force into place, but hardly is it ever the answer, You have to let like God and spirit come in and do their thing, work their magic. They are the ones that actually know what's best. So that's why when you're going through something, like if a door closes, it's like, okay, I don't understand why that door closed. I thought that's what I wanted, but I guess that just wasn't for me. And I just have to trust that God knows best. God knows my heart, and I will be led to what is for me, even if it's not what I wanted or what I thought it was going to be. You have to let God come in. You have to make room for God. And I feel like a lot of the decisions that we've made, again, it's like because we're humans, you know what I mean? And we just want connection. Like, even if those aren't the things that are prioritized, they don't really teach us how to love and how to be whole and how to use our heart and stuff like that, but it's still part of us, you know what I mean? It's still a need that we all have. And so we get ourselves into these situations because we're just looking for love, we're just looking for connection and belonging and validation. And so we get ourselves in these unhealthy situations and positions, into these codependent situations, and it's because of those needs that we have, but we're just going about it in a way that's unhealthy. Like, we're trying to meet those needs in a way that's unhealthy, in a way that is codependent. And you do need to learn how to meet those needs on your own, how to be strong enough to meet them on your own, how to create the right boundaries and the right structure and the right foundations, and to not be attached or making certain decisions because you need validation, you have low self-esteem, and so you prioritize the wrong things. It leads you to somewhere that isn't truthful to yourself. So yeah, this is all about like destroying what needs to be destroyed, connecting to your heart, believing in yourself, and loving yourself, and healing, inviting healing here. To know that you are the healer. It's like we're always looking for it. Will this situation heal me? Is this gonna heal me? Is this the answer? The answer is you. It's like you are your own hero. If you're waiting for someone to come and rescue you, look in the mirror. Like, you are your own hero. And it's until you really like come to that understanding that you can really do the healing work. Like, you can really start to heal. You know what I mean? And not be pulled in and attracted and tempted off of your path because of like all of this inner work that you never did, because it's not prioritized in our society. It's not what's valued. But this is where it rears its ugly head, all that work that you didn't do. So yeah, let me just show you. I'm gonna pull the tarot, but let me just show you guys. We have this self-love card, and then we have this believe in yourself card. So that's like a common theme. And then we have this chakra healing card. And at the bottom of this deck is you are the healer. You know, and I love her red hair because it does remind me of Aries. That Aries energy, that Mars energy. Hence the red dress. But okay, yeah, let's get into the tarot to see if there's any additional messages that Spirit would like to give us. But yeah, so far this is what they want us to reflect upon, or like I said, go check out the new moon reading, because I feel like something about this could be closing out, or it could be illuminated for you. Okay. So, yeah, it's just saying like it's unexpected. The way that you are going to be victorious. Again, it's not by this very doing energy and being on top of everything and like trying to force things and like will your way forward. Like I said, it is time for you to just kind of like let go, and that's what's going to lead you to victory. You have to try to like discipline yourself into like learning how to just go with the flow and trust like a higher power. And yeah, it's just all about like cultivating a relationship with yourself, cultivating a relationship with God, with whatever higher power you believe in, so that you can slowly release any harmful ties you have to anything that was keeping you stuck, you know, in a codependent situation that was unhealthy. The way that you heal that is like by connecting back to yourself, you know, and building that relationship with yourself, knowing how to support yourself, how to nurture yourself, how to be there for yourself, learning what it is that you need, what is best suited for you. And in order for you to know these things, you need to know yourself. So it's like connecting with your heart and connecting with yourself. And, you know, if you don't really know how to do that, a good way is by trying to connect to something higher, to like a higher power. Because the more you can connect to that, that is like you're connecting to yourself, you know? I feel like it's one and the same in many ways. And yeah, this is what's going to lead you home. This is the way home. So fight for this. The same way that you fought for other things in your life, that you prioritized other things, like you need to prioritize this. You need to fight for this in order for you to bring everything into alignment here. You need to make time for yourself. You need to make time to be alone and to go within and to create that silence, that stillness, to create those practices, you know, spirituality, whatever it is, you know, you need to create that space so that you can evolve and grow and learn from this and really like mature and refine in some way, gain some kinds of wisdom, so that you can get yourself to a position where you are really trusting where you're being led, you know? It's not like, I think this is what I'm supposed to do, so I'm just gonna do it. It's like, no, you're showing up and you're confident. You're like, I know this is what I have to do. And you know what I mean? Because it's like it's cultivated. You have that connection, that relationship to something, whether it's your own heart or God, whatever you want to like call it, however you want to perceive it. And so you show up fully. So even if like there are a lot of unknowns, it's like you're still confident in the way that you are navigating your life and the choices that you're making. And yeah, you know, again, they're saying to take care of yourself, to water your garden. We have this water your garden card here. It says nourishment, tender rest, body care, you know, so it's like invest in this, give time to this. Also allow other people to do it too, like be tolerant and encouraging of other people doing this too, you doing this, wanting the best for people. So knowing that this is something that people need to like feel emotionally well, you know? And like, we all have busy lives, but this is something that we all need to make time for, to make room for as well. And yeah, I just feel like this is going to take time. This is a process, especially for those of you that have not like engaged in this yet. Let yourself develop and mature whatever it is that you need to, so that you can just invite more of this energy into your life, more of like that trusting energy, that surrender, that peace, knowing that things are going to align, you know, like that self-love, that self-care, that unwavering belief in self and in a higher power. And again, in prioritizing your heart and emotions and feelings, those more feminine energies, and like why that's important, like really understanding why that's important, and like seeing the value in that, and creating like foundations and structures where that can happen, where you are protecting that, you are defending those things and prioritizing those things, and like, you know, you see the importance. And in doing that, it's like, it's good for you. It's like you're going to see your own value and your own worth and your power and your purpose, and you're going to align to your dharma. So it's just like, it's a win-win. It's a win for you, it's a win for society, for those around you, for yourself. It's just, this is what I mean by like working and building with something bigger, with something greater, with the light side, with the divine. This is what that looks like. It's like, it's good for you. It has a good impact on you, but it has a good impact on everyone too, on those around you. What you're encouraging and supporting is meaningful and purposeful and high vibrational, instead of like being destructive to yourself and others. So again, that Mars energy, like how you use it matters. And this is just like how to clean it up, basically. All right, so I just want to pull some of these homemade oracle cards that I made, because I did it for my new moon in Aries. So just like a little full circle moment. So let's just pull some of these cards and then we'll wrap up the reading. If anyone want to come out. Hello, anybody home? Okay. We got you look perfect. We got I love you. How cute is this? I guess these could be like messages from spirit. And pure. Changes an altered state of mind. I love that. And then the bottom we have bad decisions. So we're probably like addressing those bad decisions, and spirit, you know, any chance they can take to let you know that you look perfect. My son made that one. And you know, of course, I love you. Pure. They see your purity. They see your innocence. They see your good intentions. Changes. They're highlighting that changes need to happen, need to be made. And they're saying to alter your state of mind. You know, maybe those are the changes that need to be made, is like in your perspective, in your state of mind, in your state of being. And yeah, they think they want you to like come back to your purity. You know what I mean? Come back to that, because it exists inside all of us. Even when we're not like acting in alignment with our purity, it doesn't take it away. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't take away the fact that what we're made out of is divinity. It is divine. So they're like, come back to it. Come back to your pure, natural essence, what you're made of. You know, because when you destroy that purity, it's like you're destroying it. You're destroying yourself. You know what I mean? And that's what they mean. It's like any hurt, any harm you do to somebody else, you're doing it to yourself. So yeah, you guys, that was our message. I truly hope that this message has served you. Thank you so much for joining me today, for being here with me and sharing your time and energy. If you'd like more insight, have any specific questions, and would like to inquire about a personal reading, I'd be happy to work with you. I'd love to connect. I'll leave my email in the description box below so that you can contact me. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take good care of yourselves, and until next time. Bye.